What if I told you that one simple question, a question that took less than 30 seconds to ask, completely exposed how Kenya's economy is really being run? The question was not by an opposition member. It was not even by an economist. It was by Kenya's biggest YouTuber.
Again, let my foolishness end here. An idea like...
Last week, Dr. Kingori was actually having an interview with the president. Most people expected it to be a friendly interview, some PR, some jokes, some politics. Instead, one question left many Kenyans asking, does the president really know or understand how the economy works?
And you're a numbers guy. I'm sure kidogo pale kwa ideas.
Because the answer he gave left everyone with a shocking disbelief.
You have to stop talking about foolishness in this conversation because there is no foolishness here.
We are going to talk about it. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
For the support of the private sector, what informed the idea of giving people money directly, that's like government doing business, yet the private sector, they have established structures in the banking. Why not empower them to give access to loans?
Dr. Kingori's question was about Hustler Fund. For those who don't know, Hustler Fund is a government's loan program. It allows ordinary Kenyans to borrow small amounts of money. But Dr. Kingori's question was actually much deeper than that. He asked if the government is borrowing huge amounts of money from commercial banks and then using the money to lend to Kenyans, why not simply stop borrowing so much? Because if the government stopped competing with ordinary Kenyans for loans, banks would have no choice but to lend directly to Mwananchi.
And one of the criticisms that the economy has faced is that the government is borrowing from banks. So correct me if I'm wrong, if the government stopped from borrowing from banks, tumeambiwa banks zitatubembeleza na pesa, tuende to borrow. What informs the difference between giving people directly or strengthening the institutions?
Here is why that question really matters. Banks are businesses. They lend money where they see the least risk. Today, the safest customer is not you, Mwananchi. It is the government.
Let me give you an example. My pet project is debt. When government goes to borrow at 18% interest rate from the domestic market, government has mopped all the money. The banks have an appetite to only now lend to government, not to the private sector. They can't lend you money because they prefer to give money to government because it's a sovereign guarantee. So government is the one that is now trading with the banks.
That leaves ordinary Kenyans struggling to access affordable credit. That was the issue Dr. Kingori was actually raising.
So the only people going to declare profits are banks. Why? Because they know they lend the same money to government. Government will come to you, the people, increase your taxes, take whatever little in your pocket, give the banks a high interest rate.
But the president in his true self ended up surprising us with a very extraordinary answer. Instead of addressing that concern, the president said something completely different.
The biggest challenge small business people face is access to capital. Many banks you will not get through the door if you want to go and borrow from them.
Because they know you pay them.
Not because they know you. They will not allow you if they don't know you. First, they tell you, bring this item, what is the name of your grandmother, and everybody, who is your friend, where's the logbook, do you have a title deed, do you have a pay slip, all those things.
But many people immediately questioned that explanation because it does not match what most Kenyans actually remember. What Kenyans remember is what used to happen during Kibaki's time. There was a time that banks actively looked for customers. Business owners were being approached. People were encouraged to open accounts. Banks advertised business loans aggressively. Many small traders, shop owners, and even entrepreneurs received financing direct from commercial banks.
And that's why we see how Kibaki's economy, even though it was marred with some scandals here and there of corruption and everything, is where we saw Kenya's economy really bursting. The industriousness of Kenyans, shops coming up, there was Nakumatt, there were so many other homegrown Kenyan companies that just bustled.
Today, many people say that has really changed.
There's nobody Who can go to a bank today and say, I want a loan of 100 million to do a project? Because you walk into a bank, at your request of 100 million, you'll be told your interest rate is 25%, 20% interest rate. Right? Why are they saying high interest rate? They prefer to lend to government, not to you. So they don't want you.
Banks now have an easier customer, the government.
Nobody is going to borrow at 25% when their profit margin is 10% and make a profit.
So why would a bank choose you if it can lend billions to the government instead? That is the real question.
We have to take the risk as government. It is the reason why my friend Daktari Kingori, Daktari Kingori, it is the reason why I started Hustler Fund.
When government borrowing becomes too large, private businesses can struggle to access affordable loans. Economists have a name for it. They call it crowding out.
He has exhausted borrowing from local banks because local banks have lent him 6.8 trillion.
Government borrowing can reduce the amount of money available for private borrowers.
Now, banks in Kenya are saying that they are going to reduce the amount of loans that they extend to clients.
That is why Kingori's question was actually important.
Unajua, kuna watu wako na propaganda mingi, story mingi, and they have no ideas on how to take Kenya forward.
Something else has also caught my attention.
Breaking news. Absa Bank inauzwa.
Recently, there has been an increased interest by foreign banking groups in Kenya.
Juzi tumekuwa na South African Bank inaitwa Nedbank. Inanunua NCBA Bank. Na hii ofa inaendelea.
Firms from South Africa want to buy equity into Kenyan banks.
Saizi as we speak, Absa Group ya South Africa ina own 68%. Now, wanataka kununua shares zingine za hii Absa Bank Kenya. Wanataka kutoa ownership yao from 68.5% to 85%.
That naturally raises another question.
South Africa ni nini wameona na banks zetu za Kenya?
Why are international investors so interested in Kenyan banks? One possible answer is simple. Kenya's banking sector remains very profitable, and government borrowing has become a significant part of that business.
We don't know why our banks, and soon we are going to call them out, why our banks are giving our money to our government for bonds that do not exist in the budget. And then our taxes are going to pay those exorbitant interest rates.
Back to the banks.
Back to the banks.
Think about this. If government keeps borrowing more, banks keep earning from government debt. Meanwhile, ordinary businesses struggle to get quality, affordable loans. Many entrepreneurs are left with expensive alternatives. Some turn to digital lenders, others to microfinance institutions, often at a much higher interest rate.
Financial inclusion. Nobody is going to borrow at 25% when their profit margin is 10% and make a profit.
That slows down private business growth, and eventually it slows down the economy itself.
Make finance available affordably. I just came from China a month ago. Do you know how much they are borrowing percentage? They are borrowing at 3%. 3% per annum. Imagine, so if a Chinese borrows $1 billion at 3% and I'm borrowing at 20%, I'll never ever catch up.
So I'm wondering, how does the government plan on paying these loans once they are killing the economy that is supposed to help them through taxes to pay the loans that they've taken from local banks? Are we thinking?
This is a Ponzi scheme of some banks here, and they better stop it. They better stop it. They have created oligarchs of themselves at our expense, and they better stop it. Their time is now coming to an end. They better stop it.
And that is why the question by Dr. Kingori is actually very important, because the question was not really about Hustler Fund. The question was about priorities. Should the government compete with its own citizens for credit, or should the government create an environment where banks naturally finance businesses and entrepreneurs? These are two very different economic models, and the answer matters because access to affordable credit determines whether businesses grow, create jobs, or close down.
In the dailies, the most advertised product is the auctioneer's pages. People are not able to perform. They're not able to pay their loans.
You see, sometimes the most powerful interview questions are not complicated. They are actually the simple ones. One simple question about Hustler Fund ended up opening a much bigger conversation about government borrowing, about bank lending, about small businesses, and about the direction at which the Kenyan economy is actually taking.
Because right now we are importing everything. This watch I'm wearing is imported. This shirt is imported. This tie is imported. This phone is imported. These shoes are imported. This file is imported.
It is now common knowledge that the president's personal interests always surpass that of Kenyans.
Guess who has just bought a bank in Kenya? The Sidian Bank of Kenya. Do you know how much money, how much percentage of profit Sidian Bank has made in 2025?
The interview reminded Kenyans of one important thing. Economic policies is not just about slogans, it's about decisions. And those decisions affect every Kenyan who is trying to build a business, create jobs, or earn a living.
Government is borrowing from the domestic market, has denied the private sector, has denied so many Kenyans access to capital. So they cannot do anything. And the government takes the money and eat it. There is no project they are doing. Because if the government was borrowing this money to do a project, do a road, that road project will spur growth.
That is why any Kenyan who actually loves this country should make sure of one thing, that this selfish, bad for the economy regime only goes for one term. Subscribe.